So Starcourt Mall, this thing is built on a 48 by 48, a 32 by 32, and also a 16 by 32 base plate, which in total adds up to a number that I don't really want to count because I'm horrible at math. But anyway, you get the point. This thing is huge. The first thing I want to pay attention to is the first thing that I actually started building when making this, and that is the front portion. Now, the front portion came with a lot of challenges. What I found most difficult was the front entryway. Just accomplishing that angled technique for the front definitely came with a lot of challenges, and also the glass pyramid on the top. But with the help of a few people who gave me some advice, I was able to accomplish this overall, and I think this turned out very, very nice. And also, as we do see from the film, the mall has some wood paneling on the sides with these neon lights. Now, to accomplish the neon lights, I added some of these transparent plates to kind of give a glowy look to the other colors that go with it. Now, we do have these double automatic sliding doors, or whatever they're called, that take you to the main portion of the mall, which I will show you right now. We continue moving forward, and we have a long open hallway with some seating areas, and not to mention I did use once again, a snot brick technique for the flooring, and also I want to include some extra colors, so we have the use of these black white plates and also these sand blue bricks. There are 6 main shops, or I guess not necessarily shops, but just places you can go. The first store that I made for this mall was this store right here, and this is a women's clothing store. We come through these doors and you can see the very retro feel here, the white wall with the red stripe, which adds some character, and also the pink flooring with some dark pink spots. Of course, the mannequins do set the tone for this shop, and as you can see, I did make these custom rack designs. The red tags represent the clothes that are on clearance. The next store over has a completely different feel, because this is what would probably be like a men's sportwear store. We come through these doors and we have various tables with clothing laid out for people to pick and choose whatever they feel is most appropriate for them. And of course, once again, mannequins on the front, and also the specific color contrast that I used, I think turned out pretty nicely. I used white, green, and yellow. Skipping over to the next store, or I guess this is not necessarily a store, this is actually a movie theater. Now, I did really like how this turned out, except for the entranceway, which is a little bit crammed. But anyway, you come through these double doors, and we have the main kind of lobby area where we have a counter where you can buy popcorn and refreshments. In addition to that, some posters on the wall. I believe that Stranger Things 3 was based off of 1985, so guess what came out that year? Well, Back to the Future. So maybe Back to the Future could be featuring on one of these posters. And also, what adds a lot of charm is this popcorn machine in the corner. We come up these steps through this door and we have the movie theater, which is slanted, especially for the flooring, as most movie theaters are. We also have the rows of seats, and of course the actual screen, which is featuring the latest and greatest movie, maybe Back to the Future, something of that sort. And of course the lights on the sides, so that people can walk in and out of the theater freely without tripping over. Now, the next room over is definitely one of my favorites, because I think this does have a lot of significance, especially kind of going back to season 2 when the boys kind of met Mad Max, and this is the arcade. Now, I want to make this extremely colorful, so for the flooring it's yellow and for the walls it's blue. Personally, my favorite part of this is the claw machine, which you can see basically as you enter, and also these 3 nearly identical arcade machines that have a slightly different color contrast to them. Who knows what games those could be. And last but not least, in the front we have the counter where you can turn in tokens and tickets that you might earn from the games you play, and you can exchange them for prizes. The last 2 stores are definitely my favorite. These are the stores that I would personally go to if I came to this mall. The first one I want to mention is a vinyl record store. Now, I know a lot of you guys are probably thinking, why didn't you include a cassette store? Because during the 80s, cassettes were becoming the thing. I know cassettes are cool, but vinyl records, in my opinion, are way more meaningful to me. They're amazing, and they're easy to make with Lego, because they literally can just be represented by these 2x2 tiles. So as you enter, there is like a clearance bin, which is what I tried representing as a milk carton, and also 2 large bins on the sides with tons of vinyl records just ready to be picked up and purchased. And last but not least, a counter in the back. There are also some records hanging on the sides, which add some charm, but also what adds some charm, I want to include the space gray color, which is a discontinued color if you didn't know. It was used by Lego in the old school 80s sets, or even 90s maybe, especially in the space sets. So I think this kind of gives a nostalgic vibe. The last store over is definitely my favorite. This is what could be considered like a Radio Shack. We have tons of pieces of technology in here. Displayed through the windows, we have a table with an old school computer and an old school TV screen. We come through these doors, we have a wide selection of items, such as these brick phones, which are on the very side. We have a boom box, which is probably cassette compatible, and also a large speaker beneath it. We have 2 cameras in the very center, probably some kind of knockoff Polaroid, and maybe the newest, latest, and greatest DSLR. So you come up these escalators, and we come to the 2nd floor. I want to mention I did rush a lot of this, but despite that, there are still a lot of things to see. You come up the escalator, and there is basically a large open platform that kind of wraps around the whole entire 2nd floor itself. And in addition to that, there are some tables for people to sit down and eat together. Now, of course, this is a food court, so we have 3 main places where you can grab refreshments and eat. The first one that I made was what looks like a McDonald's. There's first off this room in the very far corner where you can sit down and eat. There's some booths. Next over, we have the place where you order your food and also a workspace for employees. We come through this door into the storage room, and back here we have a refrigerator with some cold items, also a smaller refrigerator, and last but not least, just a rack to store some basic items. Opposite from that, we have a coffee shop which has a completely different feel. We have the station where employees work and you can order your specific drink. Next over, we have a stand-up table area where people can just hang out and socialize and drink their coffee. And also for some of the older people, there's a place where you can sit down, and there's some flowers just to add some extra detail. And last but not least, this is the final thing that I worked on in this mall, and that is Scoops Ahoy, which we do see from the Stranger Things 3 trailer. Now, I apologize, the quality of this didn't turn out as good as I wanted it to, because first off, I rushed it quite a bit, and also I had very few parts I was able to use at this point because most of my parts had gone into the rest of the mall. So you come through these doors, we have the blue flooring and the actual scene which we do see from the trailer. I want to add some extra things. So on both the left and right side, we have some other counters with even more flavors of ice cream. There's also some counters in the back if you want some extra refreshments, and that's pretty much it. So there you go, guys. That is Starcourt Mall. I want to give a big thanks to Jack and Avaki for just letting me participate in this collaboration. I seriously had such a fun time at this, and as most of you guys know, when I usually make big builds, I usually get really discouraged and I don't even finish it. Like halfway through, I'll just stop. But this time around, I was able to finish the race, and that just makes me really happy. So anyway, thank you guys for watching this. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. I'll catch you in the next one. Once again, check out Jack and Avaki's videos, which I will link down below. See you guys, and like always, keep on building.